The East African nation of Kenya is known to the rest of the world for its unique geographical position as part of the Great Rift Valley, considered the cradle of man. Its diverse peoples, rich flora and fauna make it a destination of choice for ecotourism enthusiasts. Turkana County, located in northern Kenya, is a macrocosm of the country, rich in cultural heritage, natural resources, and unique landscapes. Home to the Turkana people, this region's 926,976 strong population makes it one of Kenya's major ethnic groups. The people have offered their name to a remarkable natural wonder with which nature has so generously blessed them. The Turkana have lived here for centuries, adapting to its challenging environment. Human conflicts fueled by political rivalries and fierce competition for scarce natural resources has become synonymous with life here. Guns, bows and arrows, once rare in civilian hands, are now essential tools for survival. Perennial droughts driven by climate change have forced the pastoralists living in this semi-arid region to turn to fishing as grazing lands deplete. But as they venture into the waters of Lake Turkana, a new conflict arises. Lake Turkana is the largest desert lake in the world. The 7,560 kilometer square lake spans the borders of Kenya and Ethiopia. For the Turkana community on the Kenyan side and the Daasanach on the Ethiopian side, Lake Turkana holds great ecological and cultural significance. However, the region faces serious challenges that threaten its delicate ecosystem and, by extension, the livelihood of the community. Turkana County is heavily dependent on pastoralism and fishing. But the prolonged dry spells and resultant severe weather patterns observed in the recent past are placing immense strain, especially on the fishing community.
I've been brought up in this area. I have experienced severe droughts, severe bad rains happening in this area, especially during dry seasons.
It's a semi-arid area, so over time we've seen the drought change. So before we used to get a drought every 10 years, and that's not, odd. In 1980 we had a drought, and then about 10 years later in 1990, 1991. But now we're seeing it's going more frequent, so every 5 years you get a drought.
So now when there is drought, fish become less in the lake when you go fishing since there are no rains. Fish are only plenty in the lake when it rains and water fills the lake.
The prolonged drought has forced fishermen to venture further into the lake in search of fish, leading to an increase in fishing activity and tension between Turkanas and the Daasanach.
The lake here plays a very vital role in ensuring that the two communities stay together. Because during dry season, no one moves away from the lake. Find that all the two communities, the Turkana and the Daasanach, they move towards the lake. The pastoralists and the fisher folk, because the fisher folk fish, the pastoralists also come closer to the lake so that they are able to get food because there is fish in the lake.
With the receding lake, a vital lifeline for both the Turkanas in Kenya and the Merila in Ethiopia has been tampered with. This has sparked persistent conflict between these communities that once peacefully enjoyed the bountiful harvest of the lake.
Basin region cuts into the Omo region in Ethiopia, and so because of the drought, the dependency, the need to adapt and coming in to use the lake as a livelihood means that more and more fisherfolk come in. So the tensions begin. So you have the tensions across in, east and western shores, but you also have the tensions with the Ethiopians coming into Kenya, because we know that the lake is in Kenya. However, for a fisherman, he knows the water body.
Turkana County has experienced 2 consecutive years of intense drought. The lake was hard hit and the means of subsistence simply devastated. Fish and other wildlife perished as the water receded. Worse still, when the rains finally arrived, they caused excessive flooding, displacing hundreds of families.
If you ask our parents, they'll tell you that this place where we are had been covered with waters of the lake, but then over time it became a dry land due to drought. We got deceived by that phenomena and we moved closer, and recently we got punished. There were floods everywhere which submerged houses we had built by the shores of the lake.
With the receding lake, a vital lifeline for both the Turkanas in Kenya and the Merile in Ethiopia has been tampered with. This has sparked persistent conflict between these communities that once peacefully enjoyed the bountiful harvest of the lake.
People who lose their livestock, they have to move towards the lake so that they are able to sustain themselves through fishing. They can fish and eat fish. As the demand for fish increases, also the conflict increases in the lake. So every time we are losing people are being killed in the lake, people are being, the fishing gears like fishing nets and boats are being taken away.
The biggest challenge is fighting with them because they also fish on our side. There is stealing of nets and there is killing of one another, which is a norm. So everyone has his own gun because with it you can go to fish in places where other fisher folks fear going to.
Simon has been a victim of the conflict.
I was hit with a bullet by the Merile, our neighbours. They came at night around 8 p.m. while we were carrying on with our fishing business as usual. They found us there and started shooting at us. The bullet hit me here. It hit me here because I was lying down. It would have hit my head, but then it passed over my chest. Another one hit me here on the leg. I got shot on my right leg and it passed through here. 2 young men died on the spot. Another one sustained serious injuries and even got referred to Eldoret.
Similar echoes can be heard from pastoralists and fishermen in the Merile community on the Ethiopian side of the lake.
Turkanas come here every day, and when they come, they kill Daasanachs. They also take Daasanach's cows. There's a place called Lobelele, another one called Karainugur. We were born in those places, but Turkanas chased us away. So if you cross Marura slightly towards the middle of the lake, you will be entering Turkana. This side is Ethiopia, and the other side is Kenya. Both the Daasanachs and Turkanas feed on the fish in the lake. So now we want peace because on the other side of Kenya, there are thieves as well as on this side.
Amidst the conflict where military intervention has fallen short in the past, local and regional leaders are focusing on peace efforts, striving to foster dialogue and cooperation.
As at now, there is some peace between the Turkana and the Daasanach, and as you can see, it's always a routine to make sure that we talk to our communities so that they are able to maintain peace during this. We can say that it's somehow, it's not that dry, but at least to emphasize on the need to have peace between the 2 communities of Daasanach of Ethiopia and the Turkana of Kenya.
The peace ambassador is just our guy who was working with the county voluntarily. So it's me who launched even the program. We want him to continue. We are giving him support as the leadership of Turkana County, as the security, our county commissioner has always been one instrumental person in supporting such ideas.
Elias Kedong, a resident of Todonyang, expresses his relief as peace initiatives have brought a new sense of security and hope to his community.
Kana hii muda ambayo tumefanya amani hapa, tunaelekea kufuata.
For the time the peace campaign has been going on, everyone is now benefiting from fishing. Fishing is going on well.
Mtu anaweza chunga mbuzi yake, alale mahali anaweza lala.
Grazing goats. Anyone can graze and sleep wherever he wants without being attacked. We're going on well and we've gained a lot because of peace.
Tumeona faida mingi kwa kukuwa na amani.
Besides peace initiatives, environmental activities have taken the forefront in sensitizing fishermen on best practices to conserve the lake.
Some of the initiatives we as Friends of Lake Turkana have been doing is making sure that we champion and advocate against the destruction of Lake Turkana. We're working with the beach management units because there's this perception that Lake Turkana is underutilized. In the process, there's just too much resources that is being extracted from it without understanding how to sustainably use Lake Turkana. But more and more is really trying to build community power, community assemblies, community organizing, because this is a community resource and it can only be sustainably built and sustainably used when communities understand that this resource is for a previous generation, for the current generation and for future generations.
In spite of the significant challenges posed by the drought and conflict, the communities surrounding Lake Turkana have demonstrated remarkable resilience.
This is now like my shop. I do not have any other place with goats, cows or donkeys. So I fish to earn a living. I beseech the government to implore our neighbours to unite with us. They can then be offered boats and nets which will make us stop stealing and killing each other.
Kama net wapatie hawa, boti walete alafu sasa watunganishe alafu ndio tupue pamoja.
Though the path to peace between the Turkana and Daasanach is still evolving, the progress made offers hope and a blueprint for solving similar conflicts. By embracing cooperation and shared responsibility, these communities are turning conflict into collaboration, paving the way for a more sustainable future.
Now, I would like to urge Kenyans to tell their people to rise and embrace peace. Fish are plenty at the borderline where there is conflict. Kenya and Ethiopia should talk to each other and embrace peace.
I